Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Chunky here, and I'm back with a video. So I made my own food today. I made my own aguas chile, and yes, I made this all by myself. If you guys don't know what aguas chile is, I'm not about to sit here and tell you the whole recipe, okay? Because no, I bet you ain't got time for that. A bitch barely had time to make this food. If y'all could see all the shit that goes on behind the scenes, y'all will. There's a little fly on my light. Okay, all right, let's get this moving. Let's get the show on the road, because lots of shit has been going on behind the scenes and I just need to get this show on the road. Okay, so before we get into the food, we are going to be rim dipping this modelo. Okay, now if y'all don't know what rim dipping is, okay, it's going around, it's a trend. Lots of people are selling rim dips and michelada mixes, and I don't want to take away from any michelada mix. All michelada mixes are created equal. They're all different. Everybody has one nowadays, and I think they're all good. It all depends on what kind of flavors do you like. Do you like more lemony, more hot, more spicy, more sweet? It all depends. But this is a rim dip and some saladitos and some powder that I got from this company here, and they did send it to me. This delicious treats. She makes bomb ass candies. I'm gonna put a few examples here and a few examples here, and I'm also gonna direct you to her Instagram in case you want to buy some Mexican candies smothered in chamoy and all this goodness. Okay, well, if you want to, go ahead and head to her Instagram and hit her up for these as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be dipping my modelo before I even open it. This is like a thick chamoy chili type of situation. I'm just gonna dip her in right there, just like that. Okay, I'm just gonna dip the can in, okay, just like that. And then I'm gonna dip her in to some chili powder. Now what's gonna happen is it's gonna stick all the way around the modelo. And when you get to drinking that modelo, you're going to get a nice little flavor up in your mouth like you ain't never tasted before. Like, you ain't never going to be able to have a regular... You ain't never going to be able to have a regular beer again, okay? So, let's taste this. Oh yes. Oh baby, the amount of flavor. Then we got some saladitos here. And then you would just throw one on your beer right there like that. Y'all, y'all don't even know. And then you lick the outside. And then you drink your beer. If you live anywhere else and you don't know what the fuck this is, I've just turned you on to some new game. Okay, into the food, because my avocado is getting a little ripe there, and when I first served it, it was nice. And wait a minute, skirt. I'm gonna put some mayo. I'm gonna put some mayo on my tostada. You're just gonna spread it around. Then this aguas chile I made by myself. V, my love, she gave me the recipe. She told me how to make it. Obviously, I did not make it as good as her. And I did not make it because my girl goes in. When my girl cooks for me, when she cooks, period, she just be, you know, cleaning the fresh shrimp so nicely. She be, you know, cleaning it out, fresh shrimp, using all that. Me, I'm like a really like quick type of cook. I'm just like a more quick type of cook. So I didn't like really thrown together, but let's see how it turns out. Mmm. Okay. Mmm. Guys, I am so hungry. Thank you all for joining me today. And I know everybody's, stuck at home, but people still got a lot of shit to do. Let me tell you, it's, being home is not a vacation for me. Being home is like work 24/7 with my kids, keeping up a house. Keeping up a house alone is like a job. Just keeping the house clean, keeping everything, together and organized is just, and I'm not even organized. Like, I can't be because my kids won't let me be great, but I just gotta keep going, every day I just keep going. But I just want to thank you guys for being here and, chilling with me. Oh my God, I don't know if yeah, I think there was a pamper behind me. Oh my God. Oh my God, you see? Anyways, I know there was probably a pamper behind me because before I started this video up, the baby came in here and I had to change his pamper. And then I was like, my food is getting warm. So, but I just want to tell you guys that I don't have like a real story time for you guys today, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining, I felt like I had to be explaining this a lot, but I want to explain it again just for new people that have came to my channel. And, because some people are still DMing me and like asking me, oh, to cook and for recipes like that. And I just kind of want to explain why I don't really, like, I'm not a cook. Like, I don't really feel like I know how to cook, but I do, but I don't, you know what I mean? So a lot of the recipes that I learned them when I was like around 11, 12 years old. Okay, so here's a story. Here's a backstory on me. I don't know Spanish, okay? I've tried to explain this before, but I'm going to explain it again because I still keep getting these questions. And maybe I could refer to this video when people ask me. So, I am Mexican American. I'm not from Mexico, and neither is my mother and father. I was raised a very non-traditional type of Mexican way where, my great grandmother is Native American. She was born here in LA, California, East LA, California. That's where she was born. So my great grandmother is Native American, and her side and all that, they do all that like Native American stuff. But I was never brought into that. It was because honestly, I was not raised, and neither was my mother or my father. We were not raised into like traditions, into our ancestry, because honestly, I feel like the problems that our family was going through really got in the way of that. Like, the man that my grandmother was married to, he was abusive, he was controlling, he was in and out. He was there and then he wasn't. And my grandma had a lot of children. She had 7 children, and she was an alcoholic. To top it off, she was an alcoholic. And now my grandmother, she tries to make up for it, but she's been a long time alcoholic, and she barely stopped drinking because she was going downhill. And I'm not scared, and I'm not ashamed to tell like how my life was. My life is just very weird and non-traditional because I have a lot of friends that I've met along the way. And a lot of people I see on YouTube, especially a lot of like Latino, Mexican people I see on YouTube, I feel like they were kind of raised with their mom, their dad, and like what I like to see is like, what I like to say is like they were more with their mother and their daughter, with mother and father speaking Spanish, their family cooking menudo, cooking pozole, getting together and having like Mexican traditions. And although we were Mexican, we did not have traditions like that. I feel like our traditions were more like on my dad's side, and they weren't until like once all my aunts and uncles started having children, I think we kind of just all came together and kind of just was like, our tradition was to stick together and to make sure that we're all good and to be there for one another. And I felt like that's what our tradition was. Like there was no tradition on like there was no tradition on like, oh, like let's make this every Christmas, which we did started making tamales for Christmas. But I feel like our tamales are not like, I don't know. Our tamales are okay. But they're not like, we make them homemade and we make them with love, but they're not like the best, There was not really anybody there to like teach my aunts how to cook traditional Mexican food, because like I said, my grandma was an alcoholic and she didn't care about teaching her children how to cook traditional food. And that's just how it was, And that's just how it was, So, coming back to me, around to me, then there comes me. Then here comes me, and then I was born into, a mother and father that had a lot of problems, just a lot of problems in lingering. I feel like if you're gonna have children, sort your problems out first, like shit, get your shit together before you think about bringing children in this motherfucking world, But, my dad was alcoholic like his mom. But it seems like he's doing better now. Years later, he's trying to get his shit together, but I wouldn't know. And, it seems like, my biological mother, she still has problems. And then, because they had so many problems in their life, they gave me to my aunt. which I've explained this story before on my other channel. So they gave me to my aunt, and my aunt had problems as well, but she was no matter what her problems were, she put her children first. So, you know, no matter what her was going on in her life, which we did have a lot of problems, you know, growing up with my aunt, you know, they just put me from one problem home to another problem home. But no matter what, I felt like, you know, my mom was going through stuff mentally. And she was letting it take a hold of her to the point where she could not take care of her children, which was me and my brothers. And my dad was trying his hardest to work. I remember my dad was always working, but he had an alcohol problem, and that was causing problems in my mom and dad's relationship. And it was just, you know, they were putting all the chaos before their children. But I felt like, you know, when they gave me to my aunt always made sure I was in a warm bed, my belly was full, I was loved, and I was protected. And even though all these things were going on around me still, like I was living in a home with her husband at the time. So she was raising me, my aunt was raising me with her husband, which her husband at the time was not a good person, but he was good to me. It sounds strange, but he was a drug dealer. He wasn't, he did drugs and all that stuff, but he was always good to me no matter what. I really did love him. So through all this chaos, there was no room for me to know Spanish. There was no room for me to learn Spanish. Like, no one, I remember people speaking to me in Spanish, but not enough for it to stick. So, not enough for it to stick, you know what I mean? So that was just how so that's why I couldn't learn Spanish, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, that's why I cuss a lot, which I really had to tone down. If you go to my other videos, my older videos, man, I cuss a lot. You know, I was just used to just hearing cussing a lot. Like, that's just what I was used to hearing. And rather than knowing Spanish, I knew cuss words. But I feel like a lot of my family were humble people. Even though we've gone through a lot of stuff, we stay grounded and we stay thankful to God that we're like, you know, a lot of my aunts are like trying to better themselves and trying to better their lives and just trying to like move on from what they went through as, you know, being young and being in different relationships and all that. And I just see it, like, my aunts are older and you know, but I just feel like, I don't feel like I need to explain myself, but I just kind of want people to understand that, like, yes, I'm Latina, yes, I'm Mexican, but I don't know Spanish, not because I don't want to, not because, you know, because of anything else, just because of the way I was raised, you know, and just because nobody really had the time and the patience for children back when I was little, you know, just, it was just a lot of chaos going on. And I feel like a lot of people that didn't know Spanish, that are my age and shit, they understand, like, girl, I understand you. Like, my dad was a druggie, my mom was an alcoholic, or my mom was going through a lot of shit, she was in an abusive relationship. They never really had the time to be like talking to us in Spanish and like really teaching us what we need to know in our culture. But I'm not oblivious to Spanish. I can understand. I understand more than I speak it, so I could understand, most definitely. As far as putting the words together, it's a little hard. Also, I wanted to critique my own meal making. I do have to say that my shrimps were not like really tender. They were a little bit chewy, and I feel like that was because I used frozen shrimp and it was not fresh shrimp, because ain't nobody got time for that. But I think for sure next time I'm gonna have some time for that, because I think that frozen shrimp is not gonna do it. So next time I make this, I'm definitely gonna do it with fresh shrimp for sure. And yeah, so I think it was good. The flavor was there. The salsa part was really flavorful. Um Also, I could not find purple onion at the market, so I had to use regular onion. So that might have thrown it off a little bit. But other than that, I still ate it. It was really good. There's some few things that I would like fix, but pat on the back for me. I think it came out really bomb. But with that being said, I love you guys. Peace out.